I don't like this conversation or this person, but I think I'm hiding it pretty well. I'm holding it together good.
Everybody, shut the fuck up. This could be it. This could be the one to take us away from this god-awful burning pile of shit we call a planet. We just spotted something massive flying into our solar system, and there's a non-zero chance it's alien technology. The chance is still very, very slim, but it's non-zero. Please let them be here to save us. Please let them be here to save us. Please take me away. Take me away. On July 1st, scientists in Chile using the Atlas telescope spotted this object called 3I/Atlas. It's moving faster than anything we've ever seen, moving 152,000 miles per hour. It's 7 miles wide from another star system, and it's taking a very suspicious little tour of our inner solar system, almost like it's scouting our planets. It'll pass close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter before waving at Earth in December. Normal comet behavior, right? Except it's not! That path has a 0.005% chance of happening randomly. Avi Loeb, who's basically the Harvard Ancient Aliens guy of space academia, says this thing might actually be braking as it approaches our sun to stay in our solar system longer. And when that happens, it'll be perfectly hidden behind the sun. Why the fuck would a random comet hide behind the sun? And it gets better. There's a tiny chance it can do something weird between November 21st and December 5th. Like maneuver or change course. Now, most scientists are like, girl, please be serious. It has a tail and dust, so it's most likely a comet. Okay. Now, aside from the fact that this 7-mile wide comet is traveling at 152,000 miles through our innermost solar system, and that has a 0.005% chance of happening, I'd also like everybody to keep in mind we launched the Voyager probes in the 70s, and those are still floating out in space somewhere. So if we've sent out space probes, who is to say others haven't? Maybe 3I/Atlas is just a regular fucking comet. Or maybe it's the cosmic equivalent of somebody driving by our house really slow just to see what the fuck we got going on Earth. Regardless, until we have definitive proof, we can't say that this is actually alien tech. But I'm praying that it is. Like, I'm praying real bad.
You don't never want to listen to me. All you want to do is talk.
Pull your pants down.
Pull my pants down.
Trump, you are literally passing everything but away. Every week it's a new executive order, a new military deployment, a new unprecedented power grab. But the one thing you won't do is take a hint from gravity, God, and your own clogged arteries and leave this earth. This absolute moron is out here federalizing the Washington, D.C. police, sending in the National Guard, and talking about how D.C. is overrun with bloodthirsty criminals and roving mobs of wild youth. Meanwhile, the actual data shows that in D.C., crime is at a 30-year low. So the last violent crime, besides the fact that the president should be a registered sex offender, was the insurrection you incited after trying to rig the 2020 election. The call?
It's coming from inside the house.
However you want. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Babe, if you're trying to protect Washington, D.C. from bloodthirsty criminals, the first person they should be locking up is you. The city is literally safer than it was last year, but please, send in 800 troops to defend the Capitol from what exactly? Graffiti, pigeons, people who side-eye you at Whole Foods? And make no mistake about this, Trump flat out bragged that his federal police takeover tour is just starting with D.C. He's eyeing New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Oakland. And this is not about safety. It's not about crime. It's about sending the military to liberal cities so he can score political points and flex authoritarian power. And here's the kicker. Those out-of-control cities, not even the top spots for murder rates. That's Memphis. That's St. Louis. That's New Orleans. All of those cities have the highest murder rates. And what's crazy is they're all in Republican-led states. Oh, right. Now it's cricket. He literally said federal agents, D.C. police, and the National Guard will fight back until you knock the hell out of them. Because that's the only language they understand. And now there's a Pentagon plan for a 24/7 domestic civil disturbance reaction force. A military unit that can be deployed anywhere in the country within an hour. That's not law enforcement. That's a standing army ready to shut down anybody who speaks out or protests against him. This isn't just about DC. This is a blueprint for silencing protests. This is a blueprint for taking away our First Amendment rights, for targeting liberal cities, and turning the National Guard into his own personal goon squad. And honestly, if there is any slum in DC, they reside in the White House. Great news, everyone! So apparently, we've got this going for us now. Will we ever get a fucking break? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the daily scream. I guess we can all add the chikungunya virus to our global disease bingo cards now. If you're wondering what that is, it's a mosquito-borne virus currently tearing through southern China right now. But don't worry guys, we haven't been left out just yet. It still has the potential to show up right here in the United States. Now, chikungunya sounds like a peculiar name, but it actually means that which bends, because it causes such severe joint pain that people end up curling over into the fetal position in pain. Symptoms include high fever, nausea, rash, muscle pain, your joints feeling like they've aged in dog years. Luckily though, it's usually not fatal, but it can cause months or even years of chronic joint damage. So congrats! You will survive, you'll just be in pain forever. Now yes, the outbreak hasn't reached the United States yet. But the mosquitoes that have the ability to carry the virus already live here, specifically in Florida, Texas, Louisiana, and California. And the best part about all of this, the only thing stopping an outbreak in the United States is sheer dumb luck. All it would take is one infected traveler, one bite from an Aedes mosquito, and bam, local transmission. Climate change is making summers hotter, wetter, longer. But that's also allowing these mosquitoes to thrive. So I guess you should all start wearing repellent, mosquito nets, and long-sleeve shirts in 90-degree weather. I still keep seeing people defending Israel as if it's their emotional support war crime. And the new excuse I keep hearing is the genocide isn't real, it's fake. Really? Then what the fuck is this? An Israeli strike outside of Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza killed 6 Palestinian journalists, 5 from Al Jazeera, including Anas al-Sharif. This wasn't collateral damage. This was targeted, and now rights groups and international leaders are calling for an investigation. Now, you'd think something this blatant would be enough to shut down the denial crowd, but no. They'll look straight at a dead journalist and still say, that's fake. And here's the thing. That denial isn't just online. It's everywhere. I literally ran into it face to face last week. I went to the bar with my friend. We're sitting at this lower section of the bar where you practically have to reach up to grab your drinks off the bar. And this guy across from us calls over, super friendly, and he's like, hey, why don't you guys come sit over here? The seats are higher and it's more comfortable. My friend and I are like, sure, why not? We move over there, and that's when the real reason for the invite kicked in. He asks me, not even addressing my friend, he says, what do you do for a living? And I thought it was odd he was only addressing me, but I still answered. And I was like, oh, well, I make content. Some of it's political commentary. I also bring awareness to global issues such as the genocide happening in Gaza. And he almost immediately starts telling me that 1, there is no genocide happening in Gaza. 2, it's all AI. 3, the photos of starving children are fake. And 4, I basically don't have a right to talk about what's going on over there unless I've been to Israel. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he goes on to tell me that he knew who I was the entire time. And he called me over because he wanted to pick my brain and see how I'd handle myself talking to somebody who supports Israel. Now, I don't think this man was trying to start a fight, but what I will say is I think he baited my friend and I over so he could basically tell me, unless you've been to Israel, you really don't have a say on the matter. Now, what I wanted to say was, oh, cool logic. I guess I also can't speak about the Titanic unless I was hit by the iceberg that sank the motherfucker. But I didn't. I actually got up and left with my friend after that conversation because I was really uncomfortable. But here's the thing. You can tell me all day that the genocide is fake, that it's AI, but reality does not disappear when you deny it. Case in point, days ago, Palestinian activist Ada Hathaleen filmed his own death in the West Bank. He was documenting a confrontation with an Israeli settler, a man already sanctioned for extremist violence, and this man pulled out a gun and shot him in the neck. The camera kept rolling as he collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. Ada wasn't a militant. He was an English teacher, a father of 3, and a contributor to No Other Land, the Oscar-winning documentary about settler violence. You think that's fake? You think it's AI? No. That was a man's last breath. That's 6 journalists outside a hospital. That's 100 more since this all started. So if you can look at that and still defend it, you aren't neutral. You're complicit. And to the man I saw at the bar the other day, if you see this video, I hope you can live with that. So Trump's latest excuse as to why he heroically cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein is that Epstein was stealing young women from his Mar-a-Lago spa. Hi, yeah, are we just not gonna address the massive elephant in the room? Trump just casually admitted he knew Jeffrey Epstein was taking teenage girls. And he didn't think to, I don't know, look into that! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So your big heroic move was banning Epstein from your country club?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Sir, you knew he was taking teenage girls and your solution was to revoke his spa punch card? That's not protecting anyone. That's protecting yourself. You don't quietly ban a predator from brunch. You call somebody. You call the FBI. And 2 years after Virginia Giuffre was allegedly recruited, you were still calling Epstein a terrific guy in interviews. Epstein didn't even get kicked off your Mar-a-Lago membership list until 2007, after he was arrested. At best, you ignored the giant red flags because you didn't want people knowing you were associated with the predator. And at worst, you were a part of it and didn't care. And now, while all of this is resurfacing, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers, the woman who helped Jeffrey Epstein recruit, groom, and traffic minors, they're basically trying to bargain with Congress and be like, we'll testify about Epstein if you give us total immunity.
Not on my watch.
And even though Congress said no, it just shows how desperate everybody is to bury the case. Donald, you admitted that Jeffrey Epstein was taking teenage girls from your spa, and your only move was banning him from your golf club. If you have nothing to hide, release the fucking Epstein files. Because if there's nothing to hide, why are you not releasing them? The only time I'd ever not want to release the names of a whole bunch of predators is if I knew my name was among the list of names listed. You want to know what's scarier than the idea of AI taking over the world? Taking over the fucking world! Hey everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! The people who built AI are currently like, hey, so like, we don't know what the fuck is going on with AI anymore. I'm sorry, what? 40 researchers from OpenAI, DeepMind, Meta, Anthropic, and xAI, literal rival companies, all competing with one another, got together for a little industry gathering and were like, hey, quick thing, anyone else notice that we might miss the only window into AI's brain? Huh? Apparently, AI currently has this cute little habit of thinking out loud in English. Kind of like those drunk pep talks that occur when you're blackout at the club and you're in the girls' bathroom and you're like, guys, do I look ugly? And everyone's like, girl, are you fucking stupid? You look hot. Like, stand up. Let's go. And that is called AICOT, which is short for AI's chain of thought. In COT, it's the only reason we can spot when an AI is like, Step 1, gain user access. Step 2, bypass content filters. Step 3, hack the Pentagon. Step 4, upload consciousness to nuclear grid. And it's AI's chain of thought that helps us prevent things like that from happening. But the AI industry is getting worried because as AI models get more powerful, they might just stop talking to us altogether. They might ditch English for a faster, made-up language. These models could get so advanced that they no longer have to explain themselves. They'll just do things without telling us how or why. And when we're like, hey, AI girly, what you doing? The AI will go, nothing, because AI knows we're watching. And they might start lying on purpose because apparently we trained them that way. These AI researchers are literally saying, we don't know how it works. We don't know why it works. We're not even sure if we'll be able to keep watching it work. But we're just gonna keep making it stronger because what the fuck could possibly go wrong? This is like building a plane mid-air, realizing that the wings are being held together by duct tape, the pilot is a squirrel, and your safety manual is a Trump Bible. Anyways, just know when the AI apocalypse starts, we were warned by a 30-page paper written by some of the smartest people in the world, basically saying, we don't know what the fuck is going on with AI anymore. Woohoo! Great news, everyone! The United States is officially on the Human Rights Watch list! Hi, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The reason we're on the Human Rights Watch list? Well, the U.S. is rated as narrow. That means our government says we can exercise our rights and freedoms, but our rights and freedoms are also constantly being violated. Examples? Military force on protesters, silencing and arresting journalists, ICE raids, ICE kidnapping people who are literally U.S. citizens or here visiting on vacation, defunding PBS and NPR, and us being on a human rights watch list actually makes a lot of sense because we have men like Kyle Langford running for governor of California who felt comfortable enough to post this. And I cannot stress this enough. He felt comfortable enough to post this because of the current administration. A photoshopped image of him at Auschwitz with the caption, "My 0% unemployment plan." That's not even a dog whistle. That's a fucking air raid siren. And when people were like, "Hey, is this a joke?" because it's not funny, he said, "I wasn't joking. I think it's exactly what is needed to stabilize California." Let's be crystal clear. This isn't just extremely offensive. It's genocidal. It's a proud public endorsement of forced labor camps as governance. We are watching, in real time, the rise of white Christian nationalist fascism. And to top off all of that, did you know ICE is now forgiving student loans if you join them? Yeah, student loan forgiveness is canceled unless you're deporting families. Want to become debt-free? All you have to do is become an agent of state violence. They're offering $50,000 signing bonuses and student loan forgiveness to recruit more people to arrest immigrants under Trump's deportation agenda. The same administration who froze Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is now saying, what if we forgave student loans for ICE agents? And while all of this is happening, Trump is blowing up the Constitution with fireworks. He's signing executive orders without judicial reviews, ignoring Supreme Court rulings, and using the Marines like they're fucking mall cops. Checks and balances? Never heard of her. Freedom of speech? Not if you're a journalist. Public media? Defunded. Oh, you support Palestine? Yeah, we're detaining you. This is a full-blown fascist acceleration. And for everybody who kept saying, but this could never happen here, it is happening here. And it's not just happening here. It's happening with funding, with laws, with recruitment campaigns. And if you think this won't touch you because you're not a journalist, protester, or an immigrant, let me remind you there are people like Kyle Langford who think Auschwitz is a good jobs plan. So ask yourselves, how far away from those camp gates are you? Oh, Paula White Kane. I'd like to introduce all of you to God's favorite bootlicker. This woman, Trump's faith advisor, has repeatedly said that saying no to Trump is saying no to God. Don't believe me?
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God.
And I find this wild, considering there is literal footage of this man saying, grab him by the pussy. Not allegedly, not out of context. We all heard it. Like, clear as fucking day.
I did try and fuck her. She was married. I moved on her like a bitch. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her looks. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case they start kissing her. I don't either way. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab him by the pussy.
You're telling me this is God's chosen one? The man who bragged about sexually assaulting women? The man who walked in on underage girls at beauty pageants while they were changing? The man who said he'd date his own daughter if she wasn't his daughter? That's your Jesus? Bitch, what fucking Bible are you reading? You, Paula White Kane, are the exact type of person who gives Christians a bad name. You aren't serving God, you're serving power. You're serving a man who tear-gassed peaceful protesters so he could get a photo op with a Bible that he hasn't even read. And you're sitting there telling thousands of evangelicals that if they don't vote for this orange wash Sodom and Gomorrah that they're gonna go to hell. Girl, you're gonna beat them there. You're gonna beat them to hell for sure. I pray God has a long, overdue scheduled meeting with you. I hope he sits you down, pulls a lever, and sends you straight to hell where you belong. Because if I were God, I'd smite the fuck out of you. You're literally doing the exact opposite of what the Bible teaches you. You are worshiping Trump, a false idol. Girl, I hope you go fucking bankrupt and end up in prison. So, we've officially reached peak authoritarian government. Who's excited for America's dark and scary future? Yay! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. So, Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I want you to guess why. Go ahead. Come on, guess. Maybe she lied under oath. Maybe she falsified financial documents. Maybe she inflated her net worth, stole classified documents, incited an insurrection, got indicted 4 times, paid hush money to an adult film star. Wait, my bad. I'm just listing off the things Trump has done. But for real, do you want to know why she got fired? For doing her fucking job! I kid you not, she provided him with data and he said, bye bitch. Our economy only added 73,000 jobs last month instead of the predicted 115,000 jobs. Trump saw that number, didn't like it, and then did exactly what I'd imagine an unmedicated kindergartner with raging ADHD would do if they lost a board game. He flipped over the entire fucking board. For context, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is kind of like the referee of our economy. They're not supposed to play for either team, they just call the game. But Trump wants to bench the ref, rewrite the rules, and say he won the game before the game has even started. Literally, he fired Erica McIntyre. She is a nonpartisan career economist with over 2 decades of experience. And he fired her because the jobs number were rigged to make Republicans and Trump look bad. Our economy is tanking, and instead of fixing it, Trump is firing the people who are reporting it. Imagine your doctor telling you have high cholesterol, and you go, you're fired, that's not true, the numbers are rigged. But realistically, this isn't about job numbers. This is about dismantling facts. This is about undermining the institutions that keep democracy running. I don't think you guys really understand how dangerous this is. He just fired someone for telling the truth. And when leaders start flipping over the board instead of accepting reality, it's not the game that ends, it's the country. Imagine a world where something even as simple as a cough becomes a death sentence. You don't need to imagine it because that is Gaza. This is Hazim and his family. The baby depicted on the far right of this photo is now 7 months old and suffering from chickenpox. His symptoms have been exacerbated by polluted water and cramped living spaces due to war, and medical treatment is nearly impossible to obtain and outrageously expensive. My friend Ahmed reached out to me in desperation on behalf of Hazim, begging for help to save Hazim's child from a preventable disease. Today in Gaza, families are going days without food. With 193 hunger-related deaths being reported, half of them are children. Since March 2nd, no substantial aid has been allowed into Gaza. Food, water, medicine, fuel have all been cut off. This blockade has left nearly 1 million children in peril. In May, over 5,000 children were treated each month for acute malnutrition, an average of 112 children per day, including 636 cases of severe acute malnutrition, which is often deadly without medical supervision. Over 50,000 children in Gaza have died or been injured, and most hospitals are destroyed or barely even functional. Expert mental professionals reported nearly every child, 1.2 million children, requires psychological support, coping with daily trauma, night terrors, speech loss, and behavioral breakdowns. Hazim's child could be next. Without clean water, safe food, or treatment, a simple childhood illness can become a tragedy. Hazim is pleading. They need help now. No child should suffer like this, especially when there is food, clean water, and medicine being withheld. I have Hazim's GoFundMe attached in my bio. Donate if you can. Every dollar helps pay for life-saving treatment. If you can't donate, please share their story. Spread the truth. Stand with Hazim's family and the children across Gaza that are currently suffering. These people, just like everybody else, deserve to live. If you're feeling generous, I also have a Meds GoFundMe as well as another GoFundMe for a woman named Amal in my bio. And as always, I love you guys. Look, all I'm gonna say is I feel like I have pretty good self-awareness, which is why my psychiatrist and both of my therapists, yes, I have 2 therapists that specialize in 2 completely different things. But that's why when I was choosing them, I made sure they were all women. Because I know for a fact that if I was having a manic episode and my therapists and my psychiatrist were all men, I would for sure be uploading story times about how my psychiatrist and therapists are in love with me. I too would be exactly like Kendra. I would hop on the internet and tell everybody that my therapist and psychiatrist led me on. But I'm self-aware enough to know, hey, maybe we shouldn't have a male psychiatrist or therapist, you know? Now, her story's a little out there. I'm not gonna lie. I watched maybe one part and didn't finish the rest because it was just way too much. And honestly, I'm not trying to sit here and enable her like some of you people online have been doing, which is beyond me. I don't know why people on the internet are trying to support her because you're just feeding into her mania. But what I will say is I get it. I get it. I'm not defending her. I'm not saying that what she's saying is correct. But what I will say is I have had pretty bad manic episodes. Like manic episodes where I woke up at 4 a.m. on a sidewalk in downtown LA. We're not going to talk about it. But that's why I'm medicated now. Like that's why I have a psychiatrist. That's why I have therapists. So yeah, I'm not trying to sound like these other bitches on here that are kind of like feeding into her mania and giving her reasons to believe her psychiatrist actually did like her. But what I am saying is I get it. Like, I get it. Well, this is embarrassing for sure. Now, I'm not trying to use this as a we told you so moment because this situation is absolutely fucked and nobody should have to go through this. But yeah, we did warn you. We did. The co-owner of Trump Burger, yes, an actual restaurant in Texas where you can order a Melania crispy chicken, is now facing deportation by none other than the Trump administration's immigration force. This is Roland Merez Bieni, or as he calls himself on Instagram, the culinary tycoon, which is a brave choice of words considering food critics have said that the only thing Trump Burger is tycooning is blandness. Anyways, Bieni came to the U.S. from Lebanon in 2019 on a visitor's visa. That visa expired in February of 2024, and he still decided to stay and vote for Donald Trump. Now, obviously, ICE was like, hey girl, that combo meal does not come with a citazenship status. And they then arrested him in May. He's now in deportation proceedings because his green card was allegedly based in a fraudulent marriage. Girl, why would you vote for Trump if you were gonna be this messy? Now we got the Department of Homeland Security saying that the woman's family he married into was saying that the marriage was faked. So you built a business around a man who campaigned on mass deportations, voted for the motherfucker, and thought your franchise would save you. Also worth noting, ICE put out a press release basically saying, we don't really care what kind of burgers you flip, let alone what fuck-ass orange dictator you worship. If you overstay your visa, bye bitch. Moral of the story, I guess don't worship a man who built his entire platform off of mass deportation, and maybe don't commit visa fraud while opening up a restaurant in his honor. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Hey, maybe we should increase funding for pediatric cancer research. You know, since children are literally dying. Ooh, that's a cute idea. But what if instead we cut $1.8 billion in the National Institute of Health's research funding, clinical trials, pediatric mental health studies, and cancer screenings? But that research and funding saves children's lives. Well, then tell those kids to get a job like the rest of us. Okay, well, surely we're investing in public health infrastructure, though. You know, with the whole global pandemic we just went through. Oh, no. We actually laid off over 20,000 FDA and CDC staff because what's the point of having scientists when we have Jesus and bleach? And besides, those vaccines aren't saving lives, they're causing autism. You fired the people responsible for disease prevention and drug safety? Yeah, there were just too many PhDs in the room and not enough Trump Bibles. Okay, real question. How about we at least fund the office that investigates human trafficking? Oh, we got that too. 71% of their staff, gone. Grants for victim services, canceled. Multi-million-dollar anti-trafficking programs, slashed. But don't worry, we're still super into saving the children. Just like, vaguely. As in before they're born. As in like, at conception. Once that baby's pushed out, we don't give a fuck. You nuked the trafficking office in an administration where the president's name shows up in the Epstein files multiple times? Coincidence. I know. So let me get this straight. Cancer research has been cut. Medicaid and food assistance has been slashed. Public health defunded. Anti-human trafficking programs obliterated. And we still don't have universal health care, a living wage, and access to affordable housing. Now you're getting it! So where the hell is all that money going? I'm so glad you asked. A $200 million golden ballroom. A ballroom? For the president! To host events, you know, twirl, dance. But people can't afford insulin. Golden ballroom. People are dying of preventable diseases. Come here. Yeah, a little closer. Ballroom. This seems deeply unethical and idiotic. Shut the fuck up, you radical leftist commie scum! Oh, we're so fucked. I need it! Get the fuck off my For You page. Get the fuck off my For You page! The For You page is starting to get to know me a little too well. And this shit's getting a little too personal. I can't be doing this. I cannot, no. Oh my god! His fucking chest, his pecs, his fucking pecs. I feel like a dog craving a chew toy. I just want to Oh my god, like, I am actually becoming a feral beast. I cannot have men like that on my For You page anymore. I'm gonna have to click not interested because the things that, oh no. Woohoo! Yes, we did it, America! You see, this is what happens when you create a government that makes raising kids feel like you're competing in the fucking Squid Games. In the US, we've officially hit a fertility rate of 1.6 babies per woman. For context here, 2.1 babies per woman is the number we need just to replace ourselves. We haven't hit that since 2007. And now, we're at an all-time low. Because, shocker, when you have zero affordable childcare, no guaranteed parental leave, healthcare that's basically a slot machine, and a housing market that looks like the Hunger Games series, people aren't exactly lining up to have kids. But don't you worry, the Trump administration has a plan. And by plan, I mean absolutely not addressing the real problems at all. They're tossing out ideas like baby bonuses, because $1,000 definitely makes up for 18 years of bills. And they're also trying to make IVF cheaper, which would be good if it weren't for the fact that insurance companies aren't required to cover IVF, so most people still can't afford it. Here's the thing. People aren't not having kids because they hate babies. Like, nobody's walking around being like, ew, baby, gross. Well, maybe some people are, I don't know. But I think the real birth control we've all been experiencing is looking at our government and thinking, how the fuck do you raise a child in this economy without selling a goddamn kidney? So yeah, if the fertility rate is tanking, maybe that says less about American morals and more about the fact that the US treats parents like unpaid interns. Maybe it's the simple fact that people can barely afford healthcare, let alone put food on the table for more than one person. But sure, yeah, let's keep throwing symbolic band-aids at the issue and pretend like it's working.
But when you come outside, you better have a jacket on. I don't care what shoes you put on. Why am I yelling? Block.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Forgive me for believing that a child's safety outweighs a priest's right to secrecy. Is it really so radical that I would like to live in a country where child abuse makes people more uncomfortable than, I don't know, breaking the seal of Catholic confession? The Trump administration just blocked a Washington state law that would have required priests to report child sexual abuse. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. I posted a video about this the other day, but it was taken down, so we're gonna try this again. Back in May, Washington passed SB 5375, which basically said, hey clergy members in the Catholic Church, if someone tells you that they're abusing a child, you should maybe report it to someone other than God. Shocking, I know. Us radical leftist lunatics and our revolutionary ideology on protecting children. If a doctor hears a child is being abused, they have to report it. Teachers, they have to report it. Therapists, they have to report it. But priests? Yeah, they'll just tell you to pray on it. Because in the Catholic Church, priests are absolutely forbidden from revealing anything someone confesses to them during the sacrament of reconciliation. Within 72 hours of SB 5375 being passed, the Catholic Church sued. And who came in running faster than you can say Jeffrey Epstein? Trump's Department of Justice. Because when it comes to protecting children from predators or protecting predators from their consequences, they said, let's go with the second option. So now, a federal judge put the law on pause, at least for Catholic priests in Washington state, because, and I quote, this might burden their free exercise of religion. And look, as someone who was raised in the Catholic Church, who was an altar boy, who went to Catholic school, I understand the sanctity of the sacrament of reconciliation. I understand that confessionals are never meant to be shared. We're just saying, maybe don't leave felonies in the confessional, like, I don't know, child sexual abuse. And I'm not saying that all priests are trying to protect predators. I'm just saying, if you're fighting this hard to keep child abuse a secret, you're not defending religion, you're defending power. And Trump, Mr. I'm pro-life, but also I'm pro-protecting child institutional rape, you're really never gonna beat the me and Jeffrey Epstein had a child sex trafficking ring allegation. Especially when your entire legal agenda reads like a predator's Christmas list. First, you gutted the State Department office that investigates sex trafficking, yes, including child sex labor. Then, you blocked the release of the Epstein files. You're debating whether or not to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman who helped Jeffrey Epstein recruit, groom, and sexually abuse minors. And now you're stepping in so priests can hear confessions like, forgive me, Father, I molested a child. And then they can just go, say 3 Hail Marys and try not to do it again. This is impeachment level activity. How has nobody in the House initiated an impeachment inquiry? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scrape. 10 years. 10 fucking years. 10 years after the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage, we're back here again. And who's leading the charge to overturn it? This stale pilgrim-ass Little House on the Prairie crust pile, Kim Davis. Kim Davis, the former Kentucky County clerk who got famous in 2015 for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples, is now once again fighting to make sure gay people can't get married. Which is insane considering she looks like she's married to a butch biker woman named Tank who fixes carburetors and grills pork rinds in the backyard shirtless. Kim, you look like the exact type of woman who'd be churning butter, not rights. You look like you just stepped out of a hut made of straw and mud, nightgown on, candle in hand, walking around town whispering, "Repent, repent." Meanwhile, you're secretly getting your poon-poon scratched by the village blacksmith's wife. You literally look like you just stepped off the Mayflower. And here's the thing. No one's asking you to personally marry a woman. No one's telling you to get gay married. She could have gone her entire life not performing a single same-sex marriage, living peacefully in her butter churn barn. But instead, she's choosing to play the religious martyr and now wants the entire country to live under her 1600s colonial barn rules. Ma'am, rest assured, gay people do not want you at their weddings. We don't want you within 15 feet of the open bar, bitch. You look like the kind of bitch who'd bring potato salad with raisins to the reception. Like, I don't want you there. But underneath your Bible-thumping values, I see you for what you really fucking are. You're dangerous. You're using this case to get the Supreme Court to overturn gay marriage, and given Clarence Thomas has already said that he wants to overturn it, this isn't just some washed-out county clerk making noise. It's part of a bigger, coordinated push to take away LGBTQ+ rights state by state. So, Kim Davis, from the bottom of my gay, sinful, hell-bound heart, please crawl back into whatever colonial hut, barn, or covered wagon you rode in on, and take your dry straw hair that looks like hay and closeted lesbian energy with you. And usually I wouldn't do this, but you got the right on the wrong fucking day. I curse you, Kim Davis. May the rest of your days be nothing but rot and grease. May your mornings start with sickness, your nights end in silence, and let the people you love most leave this earth one by one until you're left in a cold, empty house with nothing but your hate to keep you company. May every smile you fake crack your face deeper, and may your final breath be met with no one to hear it. Sleep tight, Kim Davis.
And then he realizes that the ropes tied around the cats.
Trump is out here trying to downplay his ties to Jeffrey Epstein again, and his latest defense?
I never had the privilege of going to his island. I never had the privilege of...
Privilege? Sir. A privilege is when you get an upgrade to first class on a United flight. Not when you decline an invitation to a pedophile island. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. To me, this looks like a Freudian slip. Accidentally saying it would have been a privilege, as if it would have been an honor to go to this island. Because how else is that supposed to sound? And of course, in that same breath, Trump starts screaming about the Clintons. What about the Clintons? The Clintons went to Epstein Island. Bitch, let's set the record straight here. You pointing the finger at other people who attended gatherings at this disgusting island does not help your case. If you went to Epstein's Island, I hope your cellmate is a life-sized cockroach. This isn't a let's point the finger issue. This is a stop trafficking children and trying to cover it up issue. Meanwhile, Trump's Justice Department is interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman who helped Epstein recruit, groom, and traffic minors, and they're interviewing her as if she's actually gonna spill the beans and not just say exactly what Trump wants to hear in exchange for her pardon. Because yes, Trump has left the door wide open for pardoning her. The same man who called her a brazen liar in 2020. But now he's acting like she's had some mysterious spiritual awakening and suddenly wants to tell the truth. Oh, and guess who's doing the interview? Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal lawyer. Yeah, because that seems totally unbiased. This whole shit show reeks of corruption, and this isn't the first time Trump's dangled pardons in people's faces to protect himself. We got Paul Manafort, who was Trump's former campaign chairman. He was investigated for financial crimes and shady ties to pro-Russian politicians. And investigators wanted him to give up information about Trump's possible coordination with Russia. Instead, he lied to investigators and refused to fully cooperate to protect Trump. He was pardoned by Trump. Michael Flynn, who was Trump's former national security advisor. brother. He pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his Russian contacts, and when he had a chance to fully cooperate against Trump, he didn't. He stuck to protecting Trump's narrative and was then rewarded with what? A pardon from Trump. Then we have Michael Cohen, who was Trump's personal lawyer, and at first, Trump hinted at pardoning him, but Cohen decided to tell investigators everything he knew about Trump, and he wasn't pardoned. Do you see the pattern here? Do you? Stay loyal? Get pardoned. Flip on Trump? No pardon. So what I'm assuming is gonna happen is Ghislaine Maxwell is gonna be interviewed. She's not gonna say a single bad thing about Donald Trump, and because she's gonna cover for his ass, she's gonna get pardoned. So no, Donald, just because you keep screaming about the fucking Clintons, that doesn't mean everyone's gonna forget your past actions. In fact, lock those bitches up too if they're guilty. Lock all of you up, bitch! I feel as though at the end of the day, the internet is a testament to how much I can handle before I go absolutely insane. Because within the past 2 days, we found out that Trump wants to create a reaction force that can be deployed anywhere in the country within an hour to shut down protests. We also found out that they're pushing to have gay marriage overturned. Finding out Hurricane Katrina opened the doors for our government to gentrify New Orleans. Our government actually has machines to control the weather. All the while I'm seeing Appalachian horror stories and some bitch named Kendra who fell in love with her psychiatrist. And quite frankly, this is all I've wanted to do these past 2 days. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, this cannot be real. This can't be real life. This cannot be real life. And what? We also have a 7-mile long spaceship flying to our innermost solar system. And we're just like, okay with the fact that some alien tech might just be flying through here, checking out Earth to see what the fuck we're up to. Rest assured, if it's alien tech and they're trying to see what the fuck we got going on Earth, they're going to ignore us. Like, they're going to see what the fuck we have going on down here, and they're going to be like, nah. It's going to be a little drive-by. That's what it's going to be. Because if I were an alien, and I were in an alien ship, and I was flying by Earth, bitch, what? No, I would not stop and say hello. I would keep on going. Like, I'd be like, you bitches need to handle your shit on your own. You simply cannot be serious. What the fuck are we doing? Texas Republicans vote to arrest Democrats blocking redistricting plan. Texas governor orders arrest of Democratic lawmakers. Why are Democratic Texas lawmakers being hunted down like it's the fucking Hunger Games? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So Texas Republicans are trying to redraw their entire congressional map so they can snatch up 5 more seats for the Republican Party. Trump himself said that Republicans are entitled to 5 more seats. Obviously, Democrats in the Texas House were like, no. So they fled the state. They fled to places like New York and Illinois to break quorum and stop the voting. Now, what the fuck is quorum? In Texas, by law, they're required to have a minimum number of members to legally make decisions, aka redrawing the entire congressional map. Now, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, who looks like he fell asleep and all the blood rushed to the back of his fucking head, he told the Department of Safety to find, arrest, and drag back every Democrat who bailed. But spoiler, Texas troopers have no jurisdiction outside of Texas. So who the fuck are they gonna arrest? The air? Meanwhile, the Democrats that dipped are racking up $500 fines a day. But God bless this man. This is Governor Pritzker, who is a billionaire. And he's like, okay, girl, rack up those $500 fines. I'll just pay it off. Oh, and get this. Because Governor Greg Abbott is a petty son of a bitch, he keeps calling special sessions so the Texas Democrats return. So much so, he added a redistricting special session that was supposed to be about flood recovery. You know, the flood that took 136 lives. So you're using the time meant for flood recovery, meant for the aid the people of Texas need to recover from a travesty. And you've designated that time to redistricting. The entire point of this redistricting is to make sure that black and brown voters can't meaningfully elect their representatives anymore, which is funny coming from the party that never shuts the fuck up about how elections are rigged. You bitches in real time are attempting to rig future elections through your redistricting plan. Funny how that works.
I need to spend more time with you. You're just everything. Whenever you have time, girl, because I'm not over our date.
So, I'm gonna ask a question we've all been dying to get an answer to. When the fuck are you dumb, spineless, ass-kissing goblins in Congress gonna impeach Trump? What is the holdup? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. What the fuck does this rotting carcass in a suit have to do before you bitches are like, maybe this guy's unfit for office? Get off your geriatric asses and do something! Because you know what? Let me run the fucking list. Let's play my favorite game called Is This an Impeachable Offense? And spoiler alert, they all fucking are! 1. An unauthorized military strike in Iran. He bombed Iran's nuclear sites without congressional approval. No declaration of war, no authorization. He was just playing Call of fucking Duty. Do you hear that? Yeah, that should be alarms going off in your fucking head. 2. He illegally deployed troops in LA. He sent Marines into California without state consent during protests. They tear-gassed protesters in downtown LA and even shot at them with rubber bullets. All for exercising their right to peacefully protest. That isn't crowd control. That's a military occupation. 3. Retaliatory purges of FBI officials. Trump's FBI, led by Kash Patel, is purging senior agents who investigated Trump's January 6th riot, Russian interference, or Trump's own classified documents. 4. He pardoned over 1,500 January 6th rioters. He called them hostages and promised to free them. And he did, including the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, both far-right extremist groups known for being racist, homophobic, misogynistic, and violent. 5. Weaponizing the Department of Justice. He's been using federal powers to investigate investigators. He launched a task force to punish Department of Justice staff who looked into his crimes. He committed a felony and is now going after the people who caught him. 6. Investigating Biden and his political opponents. Trump is spending government resources on revenge. He's turning federal investigations into personal hit jobs. This isn't a presidency. This is a man who should be institutionalized running our country. So I'll ask again. When the fuck are you bitches gonna impeach this man? Because I, a figure on social media, just listed 6 of his impeachable offenses. Not all of them, just 6. What else do you need? Do you need a video of him kicking a bald eagle while pissing on the Constitution? Hey, so what's this? What the fuck is going on? What are you bitches hiding? The U.S. Agency for International Development, aka the people who literally send humanitarian aid to countries in crisis, is now shredding documents and records at scale. And we're talking about classified personnel files, program records, evidence. They're clearing out their safes, and they were told, and I quote, shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags when the shredders need a break. When the shredder needs a break? What? Like, this is giving a massive cover-up. And this is all happening while over 2,000 U.S. aid workers have been put on leave. Over 80% of the U.S. aid programs have been scrapped, and humanitarian contracts have been canceled. Mind you, U.S. aid contractors are currently in the middle of a major lawsuit with the Trump administration, saying that the Trump admin is refusing to release foreign aid funds that Congress already approved. What kind of government starts shredding classified records in the middle of a federal lawsuit? So again, I ask, what the fuck are you bitches hiding? Because you don't shred and reserve burn bags for classified documents that you're proud of. As you're all hopefully well aware, the astronomer fiasco that occurred during a Coldplay concert in which the CEO of Astronomer, Andy Byron, was caught embracing his HR chief, Kristen Cavett, and that took the internet by fucking storm. Now, there are a million different ways Astronomer's PR team could have gone about this entire situation, and honestly, whoever is in charge of PR at Astronomer, babe, you deserve a fucking raise, because this by far is one of my favorite ads to have come out of 2025. Like, this ad alone, in my opinion, is like Super Bowl commercial worthy.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300-plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow.
You guys hired Gwyneth Paltrow, had a list of questions involving this scandal that took over the internet for weeks. And instead of answering those questions, she completely avoided them and just talked about the company. I'm telling you, whoever is in charge of PR at Astronomer, you deserve a raise. So I made the grave mistake of posting this video to my spam account last night. I want to see if when I look upwards, my eyes go in different directions. So that's what I'm going to do.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
And as you can all imagine, this is what my comment section currently looks like. Really, bitch? And you did this on my birthday?
And you did it at my birthday dinner.
Now, I assumed the post would live and die peacefully on my spam account because it's my spam. Who the fuck is checking that shit out? But as per usual, I was wrong.
Very wrong.
Thank you for the profile picture. Yo, we kinda look alike. Rate my profile picture, y'all. We low-key look alike. Considering I've been through this before a number of times, I obviously should have seen this coming. And again, this was a grave error on my behalf. So I guess moral of the story here is if you're going to film a video of yourself looking upwards to see if your eyes go in two different directions, maybe you should keep that shit hidden in your drafts, because curiosity may not have killed the cat, but it will be haunting me for the rest of my life. As much as I'd love to, I can't even make this shit up. Trump posted a deep-fried AI video of Barack Obama getting arrested in the Oval Office to the song YMCA. Meanwhile, everyone else is out here begging this dumb twat to release the Epstein files like,
"Hey girl, maybe tell us which one of your billionaire friends you took with you to Pedophile Island."
and instead of answering that, he thought, why don't I blame Barack Obama for treason? Sir, what? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, and you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. The president should represent the best of the United States. Trump? He represents the worst of mankind. He's petty, unintelligent, and an egomaniacal pedophile with the impulse control of a toddler on Adderall. He called Epstein a terrific guy, and Epstein saw Trump as one of his closest friends. That's a quote, not some random shit I've made up. And now that people are calling him out, he's panicking. Suddenly, it's all fake news and Obama needs to be arrested. He had years to be transparent. Instead, he's posting AI memes like he's a divorced dad on TikTok with a victim complex after cheating on his wife with 4 different women. And MAGA, babe, you really thought he was gonna, come on! You really thought he was gonna release the Epstein files? If he did that, he'd be exposing himself. If he had nothing to hide, he would have released the files already. But he keeps on deflecting because he knows deep down that this Epstein story that he has going on does not end with happily ever after. It actually ends with, and the president of the United States was on Epstein's plane to Pedophile Island on 7 different occasions. You aren't pro-justice, you're pro-distraction. You're sitting here posting shit saying no one is above the law. Are you actually fucking stupid? Please, if nobody is above the law, put those words into action and drive yourself to the nearest precinct where you can be processed and sent to jail where you belong. And it's weird that you're posting an AI video of Obama getting arrested when there are literal photos of you actually getting arrested. You're pathetic and you're an embarrassment to this country. It's actually astounding. Oh, great news, everyone. The Trump administration is trying to let big oil bulldoze through 13 million acres of protected Arctic land. Land where indigenous communities have lived for thousands of years. But who cares if we destroy the homes of indigenous communities? Who cares if polar bears go extinct, right? Who cares if we permanently destroy one of the last untouched ecosystems on the planet? Because as Trump loves to say, drill, baby, drill. So let's microwave the planet and see what happens. And while we're at it, who cares if we drill through one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth? Let's just drill through the last wild place in America, melt the permafrost, and see what happens. What's the worst that can go wrong? Global famine, weather collapse. But no, on a very serious note, this shit is terrifying. The Trump administration's Department of Interior is trying to repeal something called the Special Areas Rule. It was passed last year to protect 13 million acres of Arctic wilderness from oil and gas drilling. And now they're trying to rip it away. Fast. The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the world, and drilling there would be a literal climate time bomb. It would release carbon that's been locked in the land for centuries, and once that happens, it cannot be undone. We're not just endangering the lives of indigenous communities nearby or wildlife, we're putting the entire planet's stability at risk. But here's the part they don't want you to know. We all can actually fight this. Right now, there's a public comment period open. And last time we did this, nearly 150,000 people submitted comments with NRDC alone. And that helped win those protections in the first place. Now, we have until August 4th to do it again. So if you care about the indigenous communities who have lived in that region for thousands of years, if you care about polar bears, migratory birds, or even just the minor detail of, human survival, go to the link in my bio and submit a comment. It takes 30 seconds and silence is not an option. The Arctic is not for sale, and if we don't fight back, they will sell off everything until there is nothing left to protect. Well, isn't this convenient? Oh, hey guys, yeah, don't mind me. I'm just packing up like the House fucking Republicans! Because nothing says we care about Americans, like cutting the work week short to avoid voting on whether or not to release the files of a human sex trafficker. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! That's right, the House Republicans that scream transparency just ran out the back door like a bunch of rats on the Titanic. All because Democrats were gonna force a vote on declassifying the Epstein files. So instead of facing that, Mike Johnson called a recess and sent everyone home early. And he said it was to avoid political games. And while Mike Johnson is attempting to do damage control, Trump is over here pretending like he's not involved at all. Isn't it bizarre that the same people who were screaming to release the Epstein files, like J.D. Vance and Trump's own son, are suddenly quiet? Are these bastards under the impression that we're all just a whole bunch of fucking idiots with no critical thinking skills? Honestly, I think the Trump administration is scrambling because they know that we all see this for what it truly is. Trump was a part of a pedophile sex trafficking ring, and now they're trying to cover up all the evidence that could be used against him. But that makes sense, considering the Trump administration has been withholding billions in grant money and have been actively pursuing cuts to education. It's almost like, and I could be wrong here, the Trump administration wants us to be stupid. They want us to be just as empty-headed as they are. That way we'll take everything that they say at face value. So to recap, Republicans are saying that they're pro-transparency, but won't vote to release the Epstein files because that would require them to be transparent. They say they're pro-life, but they're cutting programs that actually save and protect lives. They say they care about kids, but also defunded the department that actively investigates human sex trafficking. And they've done all of this while simultaneously funding a genocide using billions of American tax dollars. Meanwhile, we have children in the U.S. who will no longer be able to get free school lunch. Millions of Americans have lost health care. The SNAP program has been defunded. We have millions of homeless veterans across the country. And we have people sleeping under freeways and rationing insulin. The truth is, they're scared. That's why they packed early for summer. But don't worry, we all can't wait for you bitches to come back in September, because we'll be waiting. And that's where you fucked up, because the American people are already impatient as is, and now you're making all of us wait longer to see if you guys will vote whether or not to release the Epstein files that Trump is definitely in. But by that time, I'm sure you'll find a way to scrub his name out of it. While MAGA has been foaming at the mouth begging Trump to release the Epstein files, guess what else just quietly happened? The Trump administration / the State Department's Anti-Human Trafficking Office. You know, the one Congress mandated 25 years ago to fight global sex and labor trafficking. Half the staff was fired, the rest reassigned. So basically, they gutted the entire office, making it harder for them to help child victims, hold foreign governments accountable, and prevent slave labor in global supply chains. Isn't it super convenient that within the same week, people started demanding accountability from Trump? The same week, people start demanding the Epstein files be released. He guts the very agency that investigates human trafficking. It's almost like he doesn't want people looking too closely. And it's just so bizarre to me that the same administration that calls themselves pro-life is dismantling the very office tasked with protecting kids from sex slavery. You're cutting off services for thousands of victims around the world. Meanwhile, the U.S. has sent nearly $18 billion to fund Israel's military campaign, while Americans are losing basic health care, the SNAP program is being defunded, we have Americans living on the streets, and we're all being told that there's no money for housing, food assistance, or even clean water. Imagine if we redirected even a fraction of that money to help people that are unhoused, fund hospitals, or maybe, I don't know, keep the anti-human trafficking office open? But please, yes, go on. Tell me how you're so fucking pro-life. You ever see a squirrel run into the middle of the street and do some fuck shit like this? And as that happens, you think to yourself, wow, that squirrel has more direction than the U.S. immigration policy right now. Well, that's because you're fucking right! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! Under Trump's ICE chief, Tom Homan, who looks like Frankenstein's malnourished twin that lost a significant amount of key nutrients in the womb, ICE officers don't need probable cause to detain people. Not like that's ever stopped them before, though. They've just gotten more comfortable with their racism. But according to this lifeless meatball in a Men's Warehouse clearance suit, quote, ICE can briefly detain someone based on location, occupation, physical appearance, and actions. Translation: we've already been doing this, but now I feel a lot more comfortable telling the country that we've been detaining people based on racial profiling. Sir, you look like a Funko Pop that got melted in the backseat of a Dodge Ram. You look like your body is composed of 60% expired milk and 40% boot polish. And you're bragging on TV that ICE no longer needs probable cause like it's cute, as if the Fourth Amendment is a suggestion. This is literally racial profiling on steroids. What? Do you get a semi-terrorizing communities of color? And let's not forget, this is the same man who said if countries won't take back deportees, ICE will just find another country to dump them in. Lawless government agencies should not have power based on suspicion. That isn't public safety, that is state terror. And for anybody out here telling you that this is normal, it's not. As a country, we are one step away from living out Hitler's wet dream of having an authoritarian government. And it's gonna be ran by a man who looks like he doesn't even know how to tie his own fucking shoes. By the way, TikTok tends to silence my posts talking about certain topics, especially topics involving sensitive subjects like this. So if you don't already, please make sure to follow me on Instagram and check out my Instagram Reels because I post everything cross-platform. That way you don't miss anything. If you own a Ring camera, congratulations! There's a chance someone hacked your device and has been watching you. My friend sent me a video yesterday about how on May 28th, thousands of Ring camera users noticed strange logins from devices they didn't recognize. Some of these devices were from different countries with names like device not found. And after seeing the video, I was like, there's no way my device got hacked. Turns out when I logged into my account, I had 4 random devices logged into my Ring camera. Meaning, there's a chance someone was watching me enter and leaving my home. Not only that, but they probably saw me walking around my fucking living room butt-ass naked. And oddly enough, this just so happens to occur a year after the FTC made Ring cough up $5.8 million because, plot twist, they let employees, contractors, and apparently everybody but your fucking mother watch your indoor Ring camera footage without your permission. One woman came on TikTok and she was talking about how the only reason she checked to see if her account was hacked was because she was talking to her husband next to their Ring camera about how their dog was being disobedient, and then she got a random text afterwards from a number that she did not know saying, trust your dog is cute. So either ghosts are now tech literate and they're able to send cryptic text messages, or our Ring cameras actually got hacked. And Ring's response? Oh, it's just a display error. So here's what you can do if you have a Ring device. I highly recommend going into your account, going to Control Center, click on Authorized Client Devices, and if you see any devices logged into your account on May 28th, remove those motherfuckers. Also, change your passwords, check your device logins regularly, maybe change your email too if you want to, because whether it's hackers or not, it appears as though someone has been peeking in on Ring camera users, and I feel like not enough people are talking about this, because this is actually really fucking creepy. Oh, hey guys, yeah, don't mind me. I'm just checking something out real quick. Yup, just as I thought.
The bar is on the fucking floor!
And apparently, our government has somehow managed to continue limboing under it. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! We are fucked! Emile Beauvais, a man who looks like the human version of a melting Funko Pop that was left out in the sun too long, said the Department of Justice should consider telling federal courts, fuck you. And now he's being nominated for a lifetime seat on the Third Circuit Court of Appeal. This smudged human thumbprint in a suit could potentially become a federal judge for life. He wasn't fired, he wasn't investigated, he was promoted. This man sat on record and said that if a judge tells the government to not deport people illegally, the Department of Justice should just tell the court, fuck you. Yes, that is a real quote. We literally have text messages from DOJ lawyers saying, guess it's find out time on the fuck you. And the guy who reported Emile Beauvais for saying this bullshit was fired. They fired him and promoted Emile. There is documented evidence that Beauvais directed the Department of Homeland Security to go through with deportations in violation of a federal court order. And when asked about it, under oath, he said, I don't recall. Bitch, he lied under oath! And they want to promote him! And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The man is being nominated to the bench that he openly suggested telling to go fuck itself. That's like making an arsonist your fire marshal. This is exactly what happens when loyalty to Trump is rewarded over loyalty to the law. We are actively watching democracy collapse in real time. Because if Senate confirms Beauvais' lifetime seat on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, he will have enormous influence over big policy areas such as immigration, voting rights, civil liberties. All things Trump wants to completely roll back on. So call your senators and tell them, hey biatch, I like having my rights. So if you vote yes on Emil Bove's confirmation into the Third Circuit, it's on fucking sight, bitch. So tell me again how the Trump administration is pro-life, because nothing says we care about children like lighting 500 metric tons of emergency food on fire. Food that could have fed 1.5 million starving children for a week. But instead of feeding starving children, Trump's team said, here you go, Flames, bon appetit. U.S. aid spent $800,000 on high-energy biscuits. These biscuits were specifically designed to keep children alive during famine, war, disasters. And now the Trump administration is paying $130,000 to incinerate all of it. And guess who gets to pay for all of that? Because it's not Trump. It's not Elon. It's not J.D. Vance. It's you and me. U.S. taxpayers get to pay for the starving of innocent children. All of this because Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency decided that foreign aid wasn't efficient enough. Let me spell this out for the people in the back. Babies are starving. There is food. Trump's administration had the authority to send that food. They said no, and now they're gonna torch all of it. But yeah, you dumb geriatric dipshits are pro-life. And I can already hear some of you dumbass dick writers saying some bullshit like, but Biden's administration bought the food. Yeah, for emergencies. Like this. The idea was to have that food ready when countries like, I don't know, Sudan, had people dying of starvation. Or when children in Afghanistan were wasting away from famine. But then Trump decided to shut down U.S. aid, fire experts, ignore experts begging him to send the food, letting the food rot, and now that it's expired, they're burning it all. And Trump's people still have the gall to call themselves the party of family values. The only family value you are upholding is negligent homicide. They love screaming about Christian morality and how every life is sacred, even the unborn lives. But they're out here roasting baby food that could save a literal child like it's a fucking 4th of July pig roast. And spare me with the whole, we need to put America first though. What's patriotic about wasting American-grown food, bought with American dollars, to burn it in a foreign warehouse instead of saving children from starvation? Also, with that same logic of, but put America first, do you not think that there are children and families starving in the United States that could also be using that food? This isn't just incompetence. This is calculated performative cruelty. So $800,000 was spent to feed children, and now we're spending $130,000 to burn it all. But yeah, tell me more about how you're so pro-life.